All right, so welcome back. We're doing another video here this morning video. So I think I'm going to do it the way the author wants because my horsepower here is just not enough to get into these more advanced use cases here near the end of the book. So I will be reverting the changes I made to the notebook and running it on Google Drive. So um, first thing I need to do is pull up Visual Code. Okay, and then I need to go to the notebook, and I can go to my revision changes here. This is what's nice about having Git and version control up on here. I can go to my use case 9 book and I can see the differences, and we can see yep, I changed the path so we can see what the original was to mount it on Google Drive, and then I I changed the outputs of the cell as well. So what I can do is I can just very easily revert all these changes, and in doing that, now I should be able to run it on Google Drive. So let's do that with some of the other files we have on here. We have a log anomaly detection file, so we're going to revert the changes with that. And we see they belong to the folder UCA. So it's really important to name your folders in a way that makes sense, because we can see it's added here, so we can tell very easily which changes I made with UC8, UC7, UC6. And you know what? I can revert all of these changes. This is another thing I have to say about version control, which is really, I think, important. So look at how sloppy this is. This has use case 1 in it all the way through use case 9. There's all different kinds of files in there. There's SANs in there. This is why you want to have good habits when it comes to making a commit in Git. You want to basically do a short goal-oriented thing, such as completing use case 1 in the book, and then you want to make a commit after that. So really making a lot of commits is the better way of doing it. It's better to err on the side of making too many commits than not enough commits. And at the very least, a good commit strategy could have been to use a commit for after every single use case is completed. That way, now that I'm working on use case 9, we see all these files here for these other use cases, and in fact, I just reverted one for use case 8, I think, accidentally. I wouldn't have the ability to make a mistake like that. It would be clean, organized, neat, and there'd be a better tracked history of my progress in the book. We could see the actual dates when I finished each use case in the book. So that's what I have to say about that. This unfortunately looks very sloppy. Now when you commit it, it does get baked into the files you have, but you can still revert things. So you can roll back commits. You can, I mean, we can just pull down the original repo again too. So this is a fork off the original one, so that's a way to do it as well. But the point remains, look at how sloppy this is. There's use cases beyond use case 9. I think I reverted a change in a file that was from use case 8, even though I'm working on use case 9, so I got kind of confused there. So if I had committed at the end of all my use cases, then it wouldn't have been so sloppy and confusing. It would have looked more like this, which we can see is very nice and clean. We're working on use case 9, so we have everything associated with that there and nothing else. And then you get a history of the progress you made. Each commit will correspond to finishing the chapter. So when you do a git log, and I like to do -- one line to make it look neater. Yeah, then your commits are there, so we can look at a particular commit, git show. And yeah, now we have the date of the commit there. So The other thing I wanted to say about this is, in addition to committing, another important thing to do is branching. And in fact, it would probably be a better strategy to create a branch for each use case and then to contribute that back. But an example of a branch would be, I'm creating this fork. So if I do a git branch, we can see I'm actually in a branch right now to set up the local environment. So I kind of had that in mind for something I would do, but I didn't do that. But an example of why a branch really matters and why it's important is, if you're working on a development team, you want to have people aware of the changes you're making and you want to coordinate with each other. You can very easily get in a situation where you're doing work that disrupts someone else's work. You're, crossing streams like from Ghostbusters, and you're just causing your work. Not only did you spend hours, days, weeks, months doing this thing, now you disrupted someone else's time. So you're causing a really big problem where not only is your time not being impactful in a positive way, you're also causing disruptions with other people's work too. So what I want to say is branches. So when we have a branch, what we can do is create a pull request, and it'll automatically do that. So okay, I'm not sure now. Usually, it automatically gives you an option to do that. I'm kind of surprised that's not showing up there. We have. So I'm not sure if I made a commit yet on this. Let's try to check that. So I'm in this other branch. So let's do a git log. And yeah, so see, we're in the main branch. We were creating commits in the main branch. And now we're the last thing we did was create a branch off of that. So we didn't make any commits in this branch quite yet. So let's do that. So we're going to do a git status. And we're going to do a... now, this is something I will preach as well. Is when you do a git commit, do good habits. So the first thing I like to do is it a bit out of order. So I just create an empty string. And then I specify the file that I want to create that commit for. I just recently got in the habit of doing this, and it's a much, much better way. You can put a dot there to have it apply to all files, the commit message, but really the best way is to make a commit message per the file you're working on and explain what happened in that file. So I didn't really do anything. End of use case, end of UC, or demoing. Demoing a PR is what I'm going to put there for that. And now this commit message applies to this one file. So I needed to do it again for the other file. Now, if you've got a bunch of other files and it's fine, you want the commit message to apply to all of them, then you can just use the dot. That's fine. But this is a much better habit. This allows you to make sure that you're not having any unintended changes. And you also have to add it to the staging area before you can commit it. So you can do that with the flag A here. So you can do a .am. Oops. Okay, so I have to track the file. Yeah, so you can't necessarily do it there with an A, but git add dot is how you turn it from red to green by staging the change to be committed. But again, especially in this, to target specific files and then make commit messages pertaining to specific changes is always a great way, is a really good habit. So now we can see everything's good to go. My branch is ahead by 2 commits to origin. So let's do a git remote-v. And we see origin is my own personal GitHub, not the GitHub of the author where it was branched off. I made that mistake before. Careful not to do that mistake if you're forking. And now all I'll have to do is a git push. And this is what I wanted to demonstrate when it comes to branches. Now we can see I automatically have this message popping up saying that there were recent pushes to this branch. So we can compare and pull request. So the pull request, and I'll say demo of a PR. So the pull request is a specialized page. Nothing special, just a quick demo. So if you're working with Jira, you can put the Jira ticket here. I think a lot of places you'll work for will have a specific convention for stuff like this. So make sure if you're on the job to read that stuff over, get a good sense of that, and to follow those best practices there. If you're new on the job, if those practices aren't really there, one thing you can do that's really exciting is get the best practices from ChatGPT and just start doing the things that ChatGPT says is best. I think more often than not, that'll be a good choice. You do have to be careful with ChatGPT. As I say many times, it gives you the general consensus of the answer. It's trained on data from the internet, and it gives you the predictive most likely thing that would be said in response. So the predictive most likely thing that would be said is not necessarily the thing that is most likely to be true. There is a lot of wisdom in the crowd, but especially when it comes to very particular matters of down in the weeds expertise, the general sense, global sense of what's out there probably is very unaware of that and probably will not be able to answer questions like that correctly. And then that's not to mention that AGI is still very much absent from ChatGPT in a significant way. So it will just go down a rabbit hole with you of questioning and kind of ignore, like if you're saying, how do I do this? How do I do that? How do I do that? It might help you do that when, in fact, if you just, instead of doing action A, you could do action B, and action B negates your need to use action A and solves your problem, whereas action A had no way to solve your problem. A human can do that. How do I use SVN version control? Stop using it, use Git. Everyone uses Git. SVN is no longer broadly used. I don't think ChatGPT is very good at that yet. So you have to be aware of that too. And I like to give it prompts like zoom out, act as an expert in the broader domain of knowledge, list some alternatives, assign them a letter grade, create a tier list of alternatives and solutions for my problem, explain to me more about that problem and whether this is a true problem, or if I can ignore, tell me why I can ignore this problem. Stuff like that. Like, just try to get more information out of it. Don't expect it to work without a really carefully crafted prompt. All right, so here you go. So now we've got the pull request created. So I can create a pull request. If you're still working on it, you can create a draft pull request and it'll be marked that it's not ready yet. I definitely recommend creating those draft pull requests and leaving them up there because there's a really good page on here, this files changed page, where you can go and see all the work that was done on the file. So it helps you as a developer too, because you can be in here and be like, oh, I don't remember making a change here. I don't want to do that. So you just revert the change. And if you want to see the full file, because it'll just show you a snippet of all the changes, so we can see we don't have lines 33 and beyond. So now you can click the ellipses here and go to View File. So for this file, it was only that long, but there are other files where to see the full contents of the file, you will need to do that. The other thing that's really cool is you can see different versions of the file. You can see the version that you made. So we can see changes from all commits. We can see changes from a specific commit. So I did not make this get ignore change until, yeah. So that's one of the, yeah. So you can change, you can show all the changes, or you can show them from commit to commit. You can filter out for the kinds of files you want to see. And the most important thing that I wanted to demo is you can have coordinated asynchronous conversations with coworkers here. So they just leave a comment on your code, you fill that in. If you want to have a kind of in-depth discussion about that, you can later. But you're not dependent on waiting for your coworker to be there. You can create these conversations, and you can do that for all the files that were changed on specific lines. So we can say for this line, leaving a comment, and you can do markdown, you can do screenshots, links, all of that, really review. And now you can start a review. So we see that the review has been started. So now after I've finished my review, what I can do is say looks good. But again, it should be more useful unless you've had a discussion with your coworker and are on the same page. If you're doing this asynchronously, but this is what I wanted to show is it's all here ready to go. It's like an alternative to Slack or whatever chat platform. Like this can serve as an alternative to that, and not only that, you can really see what's going on, what's being requested to be changed in the code, and you can make comments on specific files, on specific lines for specific commits. So you can really get interesting in that. So this is my review. I'm just making a comment saying it's good. It looks good. Now we saw there were some extra options there. There was the option to approve. So you can set up your repository with a bunch of different options, how many people need to review the code before it can be approved, before it can be merged. So yeah, really great tool for collaboration and working asynchronously. So I definitely wanted to demo that here. But yeah, so now moving on. So what I was doing was reverting those changes. So yeah, so that the changes haven't been pushed down yet. So one way I can revert them is just go to the code base, look at the files, and so I can switch over to the main branch too because I haven't merged in there. So I can get them from there, copy them to a folder outside of the repo, and then copy it back in the repo. I can do that. In my case, I can just pull down the original repo again and use that. But yeah, so yeah, I'll have to use some of those strategies because right now this is has these commits on it. We can actually see some of them here. So let's take a look at this. Oh, you know what? This has been reverted. So yeah, okay. So these have been reverted. Okay, so this is good. All right, so yeah, but as I said, if you made some commits there and it's different, what you could do is do a git branch and then a git checkout main, and then you have to do something with your changes. If you have changes that you haven't committed yet, then you'll need to commit them or stash them. Okay, so we can see we do have that in the main branch here. So now I can copy over the files to, so I can do like a cp -r UC9. And I can copy it up like that outside of the repo. Or sorry. Yeah, outside of the repo like that. And now I can git branch. And then git checkout. Like that. And now I can move it. I don't need to copy it anymore because I don't need to preserve it in its original location. So now I can move that folder to here, and I'll name it the same thing. Invalid option. You don't need the -R with the move command. It can handle folders like that. Okay, so now if we do a git status, oh, never mind. Okay, so what happened was the correct syntax to do what I intended would be a dot here, because I want to move it right here. I don't want to move it to be nested within that. In fact, I don't want that to exist. So let's try it again. We're going to do a move on UC9 slash UC9 up to the, and we're going to move that to the repo. So if we do a ls ... there we go, UC9 there. Now we're going to do the missing step. We're going to do rm-r. I'm getting in the habit of using the F there is a really bad habit, so don't need to do that. You can just do rm-r. And now we can do a move on use case 9, the one that exists outside the repo, into here. There we go. And now if I do a git status, we can see that we're reverting those changes. So if we go and look into the changes here, now we've got about 10,000 changes. It looks like the virtual environment somehow got taken out of the git ignore. Or there's, yeah, so let's reopen this, because I feel like that could be what the issue is there. Huh. Well, that's interesting. It's ignoring my git ignore file. Why is it doing that? Let's try refreshing this. Okay, there we go. So some glitch happened, but that's fine. So we can see the changes in my. I renamed it. So yeah, the first change is I deleted this .keras file. And that means that before I had it, now I don't, and that's correct. That's not how it is in the original. And then the next change is in this log messages file. I made a modification. So let's do a git branch again. Oops. So now it's frozen. It's trying to open a file that's too large to open, so it's frozen because of that. Okay, there we go. And we saw there were the majors there. Yeah, so the file was too big. Let's do a git branch and a git status. And now we're going to revert these changes. So we're going to do git commit -m and do the good habit just to demo that. In this case, really the best habit is to know what you're doing. So to blindly do a habit is sometimes called cargo culting. So knowing what you're doing is really the best habit. But this is a good habit to prevent you from making a mistake where you apply the commit to more files than intended. All right, so this is commit -m. Yeah, so reverting to original file to run in Google Colab. All right, and now let's leave that same commit message for the other one. All right, so now the get status is clean. We can do a get push. We could also do it by clicking up here. But there we go. Okay, so I'm going to take a quick break. When I come back, we'll get it running in Google Lab, and then we'll get it up to where it is in the book here, this train latent.shape, and then accomplish some more reading. So I'll be back soon. All right, I'm back. So let's get it running in Google Colab now. All right, so I'm doing start new notebook, and then I'm going to upload a notebook from my local files, so I can drag and drop it there. So this is use case 10. Hopefully this works. Or sorry, use case 9. Yeah. All right, so that didn't work. How do I get it? Yeah, so if I do reveal in File Explorer, maybe that'll work. Oh, you know what I need is I need the actual notebook, not the whole folder. So it has to be a .ipynb. Okay, which we see we have here. All right, so now it's doing the same thing. This is my first time using this, so now we can get to where this is. Must be connected to a runtime to view files. So here's runtime. So let's do let's change the runtime type. Okay, so we've got yep, we want Python 3. That looks good. And T4 GPU. That sounds good to me the way it is. Don't need to purchase anything additional. So it looks like we can do it pretty much the same way. It's just we don't need to. Yeah, so let's run the focused cell here. And this is kind of cool. We've got a play button here that we can click. Let's click this start coding. All right, and let's click the play button here again. Yep, so let's connect it to Google Drive. Yeah. All right, so that worked. It's now mounted to my Google Drive. So, oh, this one worked too. All right, looks good to me. So hopefully these libraries will import. Oh, so there's an error there. So there's no module named Sans. I think we needed to. Yeah, so it's not in the. It's not here. Yeah, I could not fetch it from the back end. Let's click this files. Yeah, and then maybe we can upload. Yeah, so let's upload some files there. So we're going to do copy path, plug it in here. Okay. And then go up one, and then, yeah, choose, Oh, here we go. So paste it in. Hit enter. Cannot open it. Huh, interesting. Okay, here it is. So because it's in the WASL Windows Subsystem for Linux, it was having trouble opening it there. So we're going to select UC9 and click open. Oh, okay, that doesn't work. So let's just do all the individual files and say open. Oh, these are runtime files. And I don't have sans. Huh. I'm a little bit confused how to do this. I have to mount a drive. Yeah, I have to mount a drive. So I have to create a drive. How do I create a drive? I can't create a drive. New folder upload. Okay, so let's upload this whole folder here to my Google Drive. I think that's done there. I think that's been uploaded. So then let's change. Yeah. We're gonna do content drive, and then I think this should do it. Hopefully. Oh, so got a problem here. Mount point must be in a directory that exists. So maybe drive my drive. Like it says down here. Okay, so mount point must exist. Okay, so I don't know how to make this a valid extension, so let's ask ChatGPT. And let's get the tabs in the prompt. All right, and then I'm going to circle. So how can I make sure the circled file path is valid? Oh, I didn't mount it yet.
My familiar for NC is valid in your Google Colab environment. Follow these steps.
Yeah, I think I needed to mount it. Oh, and you know what? That's because I couldn't upload it too, because it had the virtual environment in it. Okay, yeah, so it wasn't even uploaded yet. That's why. All right, so let's do this. Let's download a fresh copy of it. So we're gonna go to my GitHub, We're going to go to my repo that I'm working on. And then we'll go to the original repo and download a fresh copy of the original repo in a easier access location. So we'll download it under downloads. So I'm holding down the shift key and I'm right clicking and I get open in terminal. And I don't have git commands here, so I can open bash terminal to this same location and then do a git clone. All right, and now I have it originally from the author. Okay, it's taking a pretty long time. There we go. So now I can upload it and mount it. Okay, so it's going to take a bit of time to upload it. Oh, it's actually going pretty fast. And this is awesome because I changed my internet service provider, so my upload speed is symmetrical to my download speed, and it's very high, and it costs me less per month than my other one. It's it's a lot higher. Before I upgraded, my upload speed was max 12 megabits per second. Now it's 600 for less money per month. Okay, so now with any luck, I should be able to mount this drive. Okay, so let's try this. Let's try this cell again. Okay, so that didn't work. So now we have to get files, and I think this is the way to do it. To click mount drive. So we run this cell to mount the drive, and the drive is successfully mounted. Hooray! Okay, but the problem is I added that cell. Okay, so I just added that cell down there, so I can delete this one. And yep, so now everything's valid. So now that we mounted the drive, we can add the next cell here. And there was a warning there. I didn't see the warning, but hopefully things are better than running it locally. So we've got no module named Sans now, even though we successfully mounted it. So let's try changing this statement. Same problem. Okay, so that's interesting. Yeah, there's definitely a module named Sans. The drive, it is mounted. It's content / drive. Now this has my whole drive. So let's narrow this down more. My drive. And then the we're gonna do it for the actual, yeah. So for this, and this will probably resolve the error. Oops. Well, it definitely exists. We can see it's drive, my drive, uh, and then ML4NCE. So it definitely exists. I don't know what's so special about. I don't know why I can't. Huh. You know what? Let's do this. Let's. Oh, now I can't see what's in there anymore. Huh. Okay, so now that this is mounted, I can. Oh, I still can't see what's in there. What if I run this one? Then can I see what's in there? Yeah. Now I can see what's in there. Okay, so I think this has to change. I think it has to be uh, the name of the repo here. So let's edit this. So I think it should follow this structure here. So it's going to be ML4NCE. ML4NCE. Okay, that should be better. Perfect. So all right, so now let's try the import statement. That should fix that. And there we go. No problems because it's mounted to the right path now. Okay, so all should be smooth sailing. Let's see how fast this takes to generate the data frame. So it took very fast because we can see it. Those changes I made in Sans, because I'm just using the original, they're not there anymore. So data frame object has no attribute append. So it's yeah, and it's within the huh. Okay, no attribute append. That's strip time. Interesting. Okay. Well, let's feed it to ChatGPT. Okay, so yeah, I think it's that same issue, but now it looks like there's a problem. Shoot. I wish I had F keys on this keyboard. Um, I probably do, but there are hotkeys. Oh, cool. Explain the error. That's cool. Oh, right. Yeah, so I think we have to replace that. I'm just not sure where to replace that because I know that it's used in Sans, but um, I just don't know in which line it's used in Sans. I thought the traceback would point that out. So okay, well that's fine. We can look in my GitHub. Yep, and then we can get the version of Sans, the Sans file where I modified it. So if we go to ML4 Lance, and then we go to use case 9. Now the version should be here, hopefully. Yeah, so I ran it to but I just did it for that one. So this should still be changed. Let's see. Nope, this is reverted back as well. So we can look at an older version of the file, one where I didn't revert it. So let's click on history. Oh, yeah. Uh, wait, how do I do this? Um, Maybe it's in the main branch. Oh shoot. Maybe I committed. Did I just not commit? I think I didn't commit my change. Yeah, that's why it's important to have good commit habits because I lost the changes I made in this file and I spent a lot of time making those changes. They weren't easy to make. Well, another thing we can use is the timeline tool. So if we go to Sans here and we click on the here, now we can get a timeline of everything that happened to the file using this tool down here. So we should see at some point me changing the statements. And then, yeah, so here we can see I changed things from yeah, I started changing things there. So keep an eye on that. And it should go to concat, and then it should go back again to append. Huh, that's interesting. Oh, you know what? So here's where it's yeah, okay. Here's where it was concat, but now it's changed to append. So if we can find if we can revert it back, so maybe there's an option for that. So we can do previous change. Yeah, so this is Okay, so this is just skipping within the file to the previous and before changes. So we should be able to we can collapse the unchanged areas and just look at the changes like that. Um, Revert selected ranges. Let's see what that looks like. All right, so that didn't do it. Let's just do Control F or Control Z out of everything. All right, and then the next thing we need to do is get rid of this here and keep this here. Yeah, so we want to revert that change. Perfect. And now we want to select all the changes and revert them all. There we go. Revert. Revert. Okay, so it'd be great if I could just select and revert them all. I'm not sure how to do that. Yep, so revert. Okay, and we'll have one final append statement. We'll deal with that if we get to it. But at least we'll have this file back, which will be nice. So I'll just have to deal with that one statement after I click this 70 times. I'm sure there's a way you can do revert selected ranges. So let's do ChatGPT. You know what? Let's just ask. I think it's smart enough to handle this. So we're gonna paste this whole thing in, and we're gonna say, how can I revert all the changes? Can I revert all the changes at once? Okay, well, review again. File using the timeline feature. I am looking at a specific snapshot of this file in time. Yeah. Oh, I forgot to shoot, I forgot to do something. I set an alarm on my Whoop and I forgot to turn it off, so now it's going off incorrectly, and it's it's kind of insane how such a small device like this can vibrate so hard. All right, so and it's also kind of insane to me that they have an alarm on it. It's like, if the point is to sleep enough, why are they going to encourage you to wake up early? All right, so You know what? I'm pretty happy with how things are going with this. So let's just keep reverting everything. Not hard. Sometimes doing a little bit of busy work is a nice break as well. Some mindless stuff like this sometimes helps things go by. It's like daydreaming. It helps you to think through things more carefully. Now, if there were a million changes, I couldn't do this, but there's only 70. And I collapsed it, so it's easy to scroll down. Oh, it looks like I'm missing a change. There it is. All right, so yeah, I'm already almost done. Sometimes the slow, laborious way is the best way to go. Okay, and we've got something going on here. There's a yellow indicator there. I'm not sure what that's for. Maybe just something that. Oh, here it is. Yeah. So this is a undefined variable. So we'll deal with that when we get to it. It's just something something was not set up properly in the code. Okay, but now I have the file, so I'm going to do a Control A, Control C, and then I'm going to go over to my drive where I have it. I have it in use case 9 here. And then I will, oops, sorry, nope, that's not where it is. It's in the Sans folder. Perfect. So now I will open this. And you know what I'll do? Yeah, let's open it with text editor here. So we're going to authorize text editor. All right, and now paste over with the changes. I'm going to save it to drive. Okay, and then I think what we'll have to do is remount it. So let's try that. We're going to go to runtime. And we should, restart session. Yep, I'm losing all the output. That's what I want. So now we're mounting it. So, it's already mounted. Let's forcibly remount. There we go. So that's how we do that. Okay. All right, and now this should fix the issue. Okay, so it loaded in. We're going to actually not see if that issue is fixed or not until we get down to actually generating the data frame. Because that's where it uses those append statements where they need to be concat statements because I'm using a later version of Python, a later version of Pandas, which is a Python library, than was used by the author at the time of writing the book. So there's been a major change to it. Now, one of the things I could do is revert back to an older version of Pandas, but I like to do it this way. This is a good learning thing, and I've tried that before, and it was running slow and clunky, and it gave annoying warnings and stuff. So I think this is a better way. So we can see it's taking a bit of time. That's okay. That's how much time we expect it to take. It took a couple of minutes locally, so we can see it's nearing a minute now, so that's not abnormal at all. If it takes any more than 5 minutes, that's probably longer than it took in my notebook. We could also see that the output still remains. It'd be great if I could clear that all out. I don't see a way to do that. I've never used this tool before, so it's all new to me. Clear all outputs is how you would do that. So let's stop this and get that annoying. We're going to clear all outputs. We're going to restart the session. And then we're going to clear all the outputs again, I think. I thought I saw an output there. No, I didn't. Okay, so now we'll start over. Now that those outputs aren't cluttering things up in an annoying way and won't confuse whether or not it ran successfully. And I'll be right back. I'll leave this running. I'll be back. All right, so I'm back, and yeah, it should take a few minutes. I'm out of time, so I think this is actually good progress because it is working now in Google Colab. So yeah, really good progress there. It'd be great if I could remember this link. So let's add it here. So we're going to say, we're going to move over to UC 9. And then we're going to do code Google Colab link.txt and paste it there. And hopefully, yeah, I can just click on that and I'm ready to go for the next time. So, yeah, I might have to leave it a mystery because I'm very close to out of time. I have enough time to see if it generates correctly. I have a few more minutes. And what's cool is we get the execution time there. All right. Yeah, I guess I just want to make sure that this executes right, and if it does, that will be the end of the video. Or if I run out of time, it gets to be like 8:57, something like that, then I'll just have to end it early without it finishing. All right, so doing my wrist and finger training, grip strength training in the meantime. I've done a I've done a brief aside about that in one of my videos, but what I'd like to do is go and edit that and have that be a standalone video. I might try to do that today because one of the biggest challenges of being a computer professional is you have to spend a lot of time at a computer, believe it or not. So that can definitely, that sedentary time can definitely take a toll on your health. But there's things you can do to mitigate that. You know, so like the easiest thing I think is to have a ergonomic setup with a sit stand desk with a chair you can sit in that doesn't screw up your back. I have a desk treadmill, which I really like. I have grip strength gear all over my desk that I use a lot. So, but the most important thing is diet. If you're constantly snacking at your desk, like I am, you're going to gain a lot of weight, especially if you snack on unhealthy foods. And when I say unhealthy food, I don't mean a debate between what is and is not healthy. I mean obviously unhealthy foods that everyone would acknowledge is pretty unhealthy. All right, so we're nearing the 5 minute mark. We're nearing 57 here. I really can't go much further than that. So just finishing my strength training here, one of my exercises. We're at the 57 mark, so I'll finish my last rep with my left. All right, and then, yep, that's all I can do. So thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.